All right, it's 5:30. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. All right, it's 5:30. Let's see how
There's only
she
three.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Let's say. All right, first up, do we have any agenda revisions? Do I have an approval for our consent agenda?
I have one comment on the consent agenda. Just wanted to make it very clear that in today's consent agenda, we are approving the superintendent's contract for the next year.
I think it's good.
All right.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Great. Agenda is approved. All right, next up, we've got our student rep.
Yes.
Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. It's been a great year. And in many ways, and part of it's because of your contribution. So we appreciate you, the time you've spent with us, what you've shared. We have some things for you when you're done. I had asked them to answer one of the following questions. So here are the questions. Looking back at this whole year, what's the one thing you're most proud of where you feel students made a difference? What are you most excited to see the students reps take on or finish next year? And the final question, what's the biggest concern students have that you think the board really needs to address next year? So I asked them each to take one of those. They may double up, I'm not sure, it's up to them. So who wants to go first?
Chronological. Yeah.
We're gonna do 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that then. All right. Well, I think that for this school year, really that we've done a lot of good stuff, and I think that a big thing that we did really good on was our trip to the Capitol in February when we went and promoted CTE and funding for that. I think that me and Marley went. Was Jocelyn there? I don't remember.
No.
I don't think so. I think Jocelyn could make it. But me and Marley went, and then we took a lot of other great students from the high school, and Aaron Hansen went. Very exciting. And we met with Waters and Stevie, and I think that overall that was something that was really great for our programs down here, and for even just programs in our region, right? Kind of making them aware that the money's needed. So I think that that's something that was very great for this year.
Great. And Ida and Jason attended.
That's true.
That trip.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave you off there.
Yeah, it was an amazing trip.
Yes.
And I hope we can do that again.
That's the plan. Hopefully we'll get the ball rolling earlier this year. That way we maybe get to meet with more reps, or hopefully just aren't as rushed on it.
Yep, and we'll make sure we get there early enough
Yep.
to where we have plenty of time to find parking, get to our first meeting on time.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's, when they say 15 minutes,
It's 15
that's
minutes.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Marley.
Okay, so for what I am most excited for, like, the representatives to take on next year is just like the sort of like helping ease the process of introducing the new AI policy into the school districts with the advisory lesson. I'm really excited to work on that. I'll be doing that this summer. And yeah, I think just like us being here at the meetings and like knowing everything what's going on behind the decision making and being able to like share that with our classmates and hopefully be like people that like people can come talk to and like ask questions and we know what's going on.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for the work you've done with AI and developing the guidance. I'm looking forward to that as well. Next year, when you think about opportunities for the board to interact with more students possibly, and next week we're going to be doing our retreat is next week, and we're going to be talking about one of the things is the board's calendar. So if you think there might be an opportunity for the board to come to the high school and interact with students and an opportunity to hear student voice, we definitely can plan that. Okay, Sonia.
Yeah, so third question is like, what's a big concern that you have that you've heard students voice? I know at the middle school level, I know I didn't get a chance to talk to a ton of students about this. I was telling one of my friends just talking to me the other day about, we've actually heard a lot of 6th graders say they've had trouble kind of grasping certain concepts in classes. And it's like teachers are super great. You can come in during lunch, they'll help you, but it's like, I don't know if that's enough. A lot of focus is put on students who score lower academically. And like one of my friends, she just cannot understand math. She's had a really hard time this year. And there just isn't like a way for her to get more support. And her math teacher can only do so much. And if there's as a few sixth graders were talking to me about this, had questions about it. I'm wondering if there's some sort of tutoring program we can do, or if there's anything more we can do to kind of support these things. Yeah, that's it.
Great.
It is great.
Yeah.
So I've got that down. So we have Read Northwest at the elementary school, where we have mentors coming in with, and reading with students, grades first, second, and third, who identified who are behind in reading or behind low grade level. At the high school, we have mentors working with students for specific grades. These are volunteers from the community. Maybe we need something at the middle school in a similar way. Okay, thank you. Olivia, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, how are
Good.
you?
I'm great. Glad you're
Sorry,
here.
late.
Oh, no problem. So did you see the three questions?
Yes, the first question, was how, how good, sorry, I wrote it all down. I was just, sorry.
We know you're prepared.
You are
Always-
ready,
always
whenever you're
prepared.
ready, yeah. Take it away. So it's the first question, looking back at this whole year, what's the one thing you're most proud of?
Probably to see how well the students have like I don't see as many clicks anymore. Like I feel like we've all like a lot of kids have separated, like there's certain groups like students would like stay in their own groups, and I've seen a lot of, I don't know how to explain it. There's just like everybody's friends with everybody now, and it's nice to see that we're all coming together as a community.
Good. Board, do you have any questions for our students?
Thank you guys for coming again. I look forward to seeing some of your faces again next year, and got moving up to high school, and we just appreciate all the information that you share with us. It is very important. Student voice is very important to us, so please keep coming and being us.
And I would like to touch on what Marley said about AI policy, right? And like, it was really helpful to hear from all of you in how we drafted that policy and procedure. And then it's now out to the community, it's out to the students, it's out to the community. You're gonna be talking about it next year a lot more than you did this year. And we couldn't have done it without you guys. You brought a lot of really helpful information to that. So thank you.
And policy can adapt, right? So as we learn what works, we can adjust.
And I believe these four have committed to next year as well. And I was just mentioning to Jacob and Marley that there's the WASDA conference. Many districts bring students to the WASDA conference, which is again Spokane. So we will share the information with them. And when it's time to sign up, which is I think now. So we'll make sure we'll sign up some seats for students because it goes pretty quickly. Yeah. And I don't know if you've all let Corey know if you're planning to attend or not. We definitely need to lock that in. Okay, great. So we move on to the next item,
Yeah, next item would be award.
awards. So yeah, we just want to recognize our students. So we have a few things for you. So a certificate, a thank you card. Look over there.
So good, you guys, so good.
We want you to choose the treat of your choice. Okay, I don't want to choose for you. So it's something that you
Can't
can
go wrong.
choose.
They're all
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your effort, your energy, always very positive, even when you had something challenging to say to us, you did it in a constructive way, which goes a long way, especially for me, I'm kind of sensitive. I really appreciate that. So what we'd like to do is maybe we get a picture of you holding up your certificate. We'll leave the cake out. For this.
Or just leave it for me.
Are we taking a photo here?
Yeah.
Or are we gonna take it with you?
You want to, what do you want to take?
Okay, we're good enough.
Come on up.
Oh, yeah.
Come on up.
She's good.
Okay, good. With the fifth graders, we did it.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
We gotta squish.
So if the floor, you all stand on this, and then if you look behind you,
But try to position yourselves in the gaps.
Or we'll position ourselves between you.
Yeah, we got it, yeah.
Space yourself even. Okay, so Jane, can you move that way? And then Sadie, can you move that way a little bit?
Yep.
A little more, Sadie. Don't take bad pictures.
And Mom, if you want a picture, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Mama's picture. Thank you, guys. We'll take over.
Thanks so much. Make sure you're on your way out. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your summer.
Drop the.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, next on our agenda, we have our highly equipped program presentation.
Yeah, so Les and Brooke are going to share some information about HiCap and some changes we are planning for next year. So, welcome, Brooke.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Brooke was here yesterday about this time, and she had a leadership meeting.
This year.
She's here all the time. That's great. Thank you.
All the meetings.
Alrighty, so I'm Les Brown, the district's executive director of operations.
And I'm Brooke Henley, the principal at Cape Horn Sky School.
We're here to talk about our highly capable program. So over the course of the last year, the program has really been working on creating a set of goals for the 26-27 school year to work on some of the feedback that we've received through our community surveys, which really is to focus the efforts of the program, which is the resource that we have available on providing more direct services to students. So we worked with our program staff member, Kevin Sloop, who's here in the audience today, and Brooke and I to kind of pilot some of the changes that are in alignment with what we think we want to see in the future. Kathy is retiring at the end of this school year. And so we're, as she does that, we've been working on reducing the amount of the program resource that is spent in the nomination and identification process, with the goal of increasing the direct services to students. So our goals are to grow the number of students that are served more in line with what the state has. So in Washougal, we had about 78 or 76 to 78 students who were identified this year. That's about 3% of the total number of students. Through the nomination process this year, we and then the identification screening, we've increased that to 96% of what we asked, or not 96%, 96 students out of next year's anticipated student population, which will be about 4%. Probably in the maybe 8% or so would be at the higher end of what most districts have. And there's a happy medium with the number of students that we have resourced to serve. So it's trying to find kind of that right number for us. We're working on, and we worked this year on piloting some direct services to students. So that included our STEM scheme night at Godzilla, which was open to students across the district, and then our night with the authors. Brooke's going to talk a little bit more about some of the other ways that we're going to work on direct services and how we piloted this school year.
Absolutely. So one thing, again, like what Les had said, is we have heard from our community that we want direct services for students, just like we receive student services for our lab and special education. We want in-person, highly capable services. So our plan is to provide paraeducator support for grades K through 8 throughout the week. In middle school, could look like possibly once a week, and in the elementary schools, it could be multiple times in a week. So what we would like to do is have those paraeducators work during our win time, or what I need time, where students are currently pulled out, or there's push-in models for lab services. And special education, it would just be an additional service for students. So we also are going to be having coordinating with our building leadership to make sure that it aligns and students aren't missing their core instructional time. So that specific service will be taught by those paraeducators, but it will be guided by a certificated teacher as well. We hope to have more enrichment for our students and our teachers and our families. Our STEAM night that we had at Gauze, with teachers were invited. They could have clock hours. We had many families come. We think that through our community surveys and our Renzulli survey for our highly capable students, we want to look at what their interests are. That's why we chose Night with the Authors. That's why we chose a STEAM night. We want to make sure that these enrichments are what kids are wanting and what teachers are wanting as well. And that they're hands-on and active learning, of course. Always so much fun. The certificated staff member, we had just posted that position. My plan is to work very closely with that person to help guide the instruction for the paraeducators, help partner with the administrators, and then also help support the teachers. Another thing that I've heard in the 4 years that I've been at Washougal from the teachers is, I would like some support. I would like some professional learning. So I hope that we can provide, just starting to provide, but then expand on what the needs are for professional development for teachers. We cluster group, so we group students in a grade level that are identified as highly capable into classrooms so that they have like thinking, and so that it is handy for the teacher to provide that differentiated learning for kids. But that often doesn't come with a lot of professional development. So we hope to help provide that.
Is that district-wide, the clustering that you're doing?
Mm-hmm. Yep, for elementary. And then in middle school, it looks similar, but I would say it's more 8th grade. Algebra is an opportunity for kids to have that same level of support. In high school, it's more like AP classes, and that's how it's differentiated, the clustering.
Okay, so the overarching goal is really reducing the program overhead so that we can create kind of a pool of resources we can use for the certificated teacher who will be guiding the instruction of the paraeducators that are in the classrooms. We are including student voice in with the Renzulli process to identify, so it's an application that we use that identifies kind of strands of content that students are interested in that'll help guide the enrichment activities that happen after school. So like the topics that we choose for next year will be based on that. We also earlier last week launched a parent survey to gather parent feedback from those served by the program to give us kind of a baseline for where we are, and then really align to those goals of increasing student services, those direct services, to see how families are feeling. Of the students that participated in a pilot program that Kathy led this year at Cape during the WIN time, so we had some students that were pulled out to do some enrichment activities. Those families that responded to the survey rated that like a 10 out of 10. So they were very pleased with that type of service. For the evening enrichments of the families that participated in that, and then also took the survey about, they rated it in like an 8.5 out of 10. Overall, there's room to grow in the program. So I think when you ask, like overall, they're not super satisfied yet with where the program is. And we'll share with the board later on once we have a larger sample, kind of the broader set of all of the feedback, including all the pre-form comments. But it really is an encouragement to continue doing these direct service enrichments and to keep expanding the programs. So that they see it, like tangible changes in what the experience of their students.
Wanted to share some student voice to go along with that. One quote that Kathy captured, she took some notes when she met in her pilot program with the students. And for one of the meetings that they had, the kids said at the end, we want this to be next week so that we can keep learning more. They were just so excited and energized by their learning. And it was so fun to see. One of them in particular, just her confidence grew throughout the year. So we're very pleased and we want to expand that to more schools.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, before we move on, so last hit on it, through the strategic planning process, this came up multiple times, some concerns, some desire for us to make enhancements, some changes. So we've been working on that. I'm excited to see, we've heard early comments and appreciation. I do want to recognize that Kathy, the work that Kathy has done for this school district for a long time, for decades, and her commitment to this district, her loyalty to this district and to the staff is unwavering. And I know even though she won't be a staff member, she's a strong community member and advocate for public education and all of our staff members. So thank you, Kathy, for all that you have done in supporting our students and our staff in this community. So please give her a hand.
Next up, we've got our preliminary budget.
Yes, so Shalice is going to be going over the presentation that she has sent to you as well as the budget, right? Not only the budgets in its entirety, but then also I think a bit of an abbreviated version of it for light reading. And then she has a presentation. So you've seen all of this. So we talked a little bit about her going through these slides. If you have questions, as we go through the slides, please ask. She might go through them fairly quickly just because you have all seen them. Yeah. So appreciate Shalice's work she has done in collaboration with our team. She has done a remarkable job. And so I feel really good about where we are for next year.
Okay, so this is the preliminary budget for next year. So for 26-27, the board approves the budget in our August board meeting. And it does go to the ESC for review and approval. And then after the board approves it, it'll go to OSPI for review and approval. So just a little background on the process. So our budget, we always focus on the one main fund, which is the general fund. We do have 5 funds. So this is just a summary of all 5 and what the budget looks like for next year. And then I'll go through each fund. Any questions on this slide? Okay, so our enrollment is the 3rd column over for next year, the 26-27. We have lowered our enrollment. It's a 4.9% decrease. As we've discussed in previous meetings, our TK enrollment is being cut by the state by 40 slots. So if you're not including the TK decrease, we're lowering it 3.28%. And compared to 24-25 enrollment actual, how we ended in June, and this year, how we're ending in June, we went down 3.74% in enrollment. So you can see this is comparable to what we've been seeing as an annual decline. The state asked that we give a 4-year budget. This by no means means that that's the budget the next 4 years because things change monthly, weekly, daily. So this is just a forecast as we roll our enrollment down each year and the bubbles we see that get smaller. So that does not mean that's the enrollment number I'm going to suggest next year. Keep that in mind. Okay,
Can you go back just really quickly? Go back.
Oh, yes.
So if you were to go to OSBI and you look at our enrollment, you'll see head count.
Right.
Big difference between head count and then our FTE.
Right.
We choose FTE because that's how our funding is established. So that's what we're counting on as far as the revenue coming in. But it's confusing if you see headcount on OSBI's report card and you don't see that specific number because it's headcount versus FTE.
Good call.
So one of our first funds is the ASB fund. So every school has an ASB fund. The students approve the budget and the budget gets sent to the business office, and that is all put together into the full budget for the year. So this is all student approved. Yep, that we just made sure the counting and numbers were accurate. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is the debt service fund. This goes directly off of our debt service payment schedule. So the funds we get in each year to pay our bonds and then the payments we make. So directly off of the schedule.
And they'll be paid off when, sorry, the bond.
So 2035 is our last bond payment that's currently active. Yeah,
So 2030 and 2035.
I believe so. Yes.
So there's two of them.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they were like staggered. So then our next one is the TVF fund, so Transportation Vehicle Fund, which I like to call the Yellow Bus Fund. So David, our transportation supervisor, really looks at this fund. The next slide is a 7-year projection of how we plan to spend the funds buying the buses. This one this year looks larger than normal. So we have 2 buses on order that we expect to get next school year that will be paid for out of this fund. We also have applied for an electric bus grant, and we don't know if we've received it, but in case we do, we put the budget authority in it so that we don't have to do a budget extension if we were to receive it. So if we don't receive it, it's just the 2 buses, but we did apply for 3 electric buses. Any questions there? Okay. Okay, so this is the 7-year projection of our plans for bus purchases that David looks at each year and kind of changes with the needs that he's seeing.
Has there been any movement on being able to do like the vans or the really small bus? Like,
Yes. Yes, so that was approved by the legislature.
Okay.
They've been coming up with rules. So the thought is, I believe next year, everything should be finalized and we'd be able to purchase vans through the TVF fund, which is great because that means they go on the state depreciation schedule. So we get funds each year for them. And I believe it's effective next year that we can start purchasing.
Do you know when we find out about the electric bus?
So
I feel like it was like kind of up in the air a little bit.
yeah, they've extended the deadline 3 times.
Okay.
So first, yeah, so the grant last deadline was the grant was due June 4th, and they just extended it to the end of June.
Okay.
So every time I'm like, we're gonna find out soon, then we get an email saying, wait, the grant's still open. So at this point, I don't
Give them all
know.
to us and then.
Yeah.
We've submitted,
we're on top of it.
right? We've
We
submitted.
submitted before the first deadline. We were early. It makes me think maybe a lot of people aren't applying, so
Yeah.
it makes me kind of be like,
That's what
"Ooh."
I'm thinking.
But then they keep extending it. I would assume to try to get more applicants, but I don't know.
sorry, just gonna go back to the van thing. So
Yeah.
will that be listed on here? Have we thought about budgeting for that if that comes through, or are you waiting to get more
Ye-
details?
Yeah, so we would budget it if it came through. There is a thought that we would purchase vans out of there, but currently it's not in the 7-year plan to do so because all of the rules haven't been set.
Makes sense.
Last time we reached out to see what all we would need, what type of drivers, what type of license they need, those type of things.
And so they're not just working on which buses can you purchase, but then
Yeah.
who's gonna be able to drive these buses and reworking maybe the training
Yes.
protocol and what's required. We definitely are interested when we talked about this 2 years ago,
Yeah.
or even a little longer. We talked about probably 2 years. We talked about for some of these locations where we have students, but we don't, like, taking like a large bus there doesn't make a lot of sense. We can go quicker, more efficiently with these smaller.
And we were thinking they wouldn't need the extensive like CDL training
Exactly,
and all
yeah.
of that, which
That-
would also.
Right, so that's
That's
what
the hope.
we're somewhat afraid of, is that initial requirement. We do a really good job of training our drivers, so it would just mean that we probably need to keep training them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the
Thank
size of the band, yeah.
Okay, so the next fund is the capital projects fund. This is the fund that our tech and capital projects levy go into. We do budget every year what's in our capital facilities plan, even if we don't believe we're going to spend it, but because it's in the plan, it's in the budget each year. So that includes purchasing land, extending the maintenance warehouse, and portable, just because it's in the plan. And then we also budget spending the tech capital projects levy dollars that are coming in. And part of that transfer out is the tech portion of the levy that gets transferred as it's spent in the capital, in the general fund.
And that's at 1.15, right?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, so then the general fund budget. This is based on our enrollment is a huge portion of the revenue received in. So the enrollment that we talked about earlier reflects in the revenue, and then our levy dollars, and then we get like 4% in federal dollars. So a very small portion. You can see the tech levy that transfers in. This does transfer as we spend it. So it's not a lump transfer. It is a transfer as we spend. So really just a replenishment. And then our expenditures based on our human resources costs and our operating costs. We do have an annual transfer out that we do that goes to capital projects for our turf. As we talked about this year, we are replacing the turf. And we did pretty much do a set aside every year to try to have the money available when we needed it. And the money ended up not being enough. And so we've increased that a little bit so that by the time we need to replace the turf, the set aside should actually be able to pay for the turf replacement is the hope. So this budget was made to bring us to our ending fund balance of 8%, which is the board's current goal. We recognized, as we've talked about in previous months, that our fund balance is higher than the board goal of 8%. So this budget does go into the fund balance, and you can see at the bottom by $1,079,000 to get us back to that board goal of 8%. Any questions on this one? Okay, so same as what I talked about, the general fund revenue just broke up where it comes from. So 74%, so the biggest portion of our revenue comes from our state dollars, which is directly related to our enrollment. As our enrollment goes down, our state revenue goes down. 22% is local. So that's our levy dollars and any local dollars we receive, local grants, fees and fines, things like that. And then 4%, and it just keeps getting smaller, is a federal portion. Very little, but still important. And then this is our breakup of our expenditures. So for next year's budget, 82% is our human resources costs, that's salaries and benefits. 13% is purchased services, and then 5% is our supplies and materials, and a really little portion is travel. I don't even think you can see it, it's brown, and a really little portion is capital outlay, but they are in there. It's very small. Okay. So then, like I said earlier with the enrollment, the state asked that we give them a 4-year budget. This is really a formula-based thing. Thinking if the IPD kind of keeps going each year and our expenditures move with inflation, what is the 4-year budget? This also, there is a note at the bottom that this includes that we keep, like we've been doing, reducing based on enrollment going down to keep us with that fund balance. So it's a lot of numbers, but this is the general fund, and the next one I love because it's just a lot, but this is the other 4 funds and the 4-year budget. It is required that we share this, so you get to see a really nice slide. Any questions on that? No. Okay, so this is another legislature ask that is shared with the board and part of the approval. So when the legislature started giving extra dollars for MSOCs, so maintenance supplies, operating costs, they wanted us to prove that we are spending that $35 extra per FTE, about that it is. So we have to take our budgeted enrollment and the funds they're giving us, which here's the first one, so it's 3.5 million. And we have to show that we are using all 3.5 million on our operating costs.
So this shows our operating costs and it doesn't look at categorical funding, so only basic ed and like district-wide costs. Shows that we're spending it. Well, we are, because we're spending 6.2 million compared to the 3.5 million they're giving us. So this just shows you, yes, we have met that compliance piece and we're great. Okay. I know my quick version.
I like it.
Yeah.
Where's diesel in this? Is it an MSOC? Like
Fuel?
cost of diesel, is that an MSOC?
Yes, it is.
And so when we budgeted, did we budget
We
based off
budgeted-
current prices?
We
'Cause-
budgeted, based off of it increasing. I had a conversation with David where he kind of was like, I could budget this as a high, I could budget this as a low, and we went kind of midline of where we budgeted for fuel.
And if you know, and if you don't, that's okay. How much have our costs increased from, say, 6 months ago when it comes to that on a monthly basis?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay.
But a good amount that it was noticeable within the transportation fund, that they were gonna use more money than we believed they were gonna use at first.
And we did have a conversation probably in March, because there's a lot of field trips that happen in schools and budgeted for those and requested buses. And there was this talk about adjusting to the new cost for diesel. And then the buildings would realize that change, and we didn't do that. So that's an example of that transportation budget is gonna be impacted by that. And this is where the district may have to make an adjustment through our funds for that. And so our buildings aren't responsible for the increase in diesel. They've been planning, they've been budgeting, and many times the additional cost for field trips comes from our community and our boosters.
Yep.
So we didn't do that, but we will if the prices remain, then we'll, of course, we're budgeting differently. And then you just think about the supplies, tires, other things that are associated with maintaining those buses that could be impacted. And those items are also going up.
And I had one question. So for 2026-27, you're showing we're spending $1 million over revenue.
Yes.
Then I just.
Yep, so that comes out of our fund balance. So that was one thing, when we did our executive responsibilities. And I'm gonna forget the number, it's 7 or 9, because those are my two. Normally, our goal is to always have a balanced budget. So revenue equals expenditures or revenue is above expenditures. And we noted that we were not going to be doing that this year because of the fact of where our fund balance is and where the board goal is. We did not reduce as much as we initially planned to, and instead are going into the fund balance to get us back to the 8%.
And that's to maintain teacher positions and other staffing,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Smaller class sizes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know? Thank you.
Thanks, Shanice.
Down to, that's 141 pages, of a lot of numbers.
Did you love that?
I did.
Of course.
Well, it just feels good that we're ending, that we're able to absorb some of those costs. Like 2 years ago, we weren't in this situation. So we're not. And a lot of districts aren't in this situation.
Right.
So just kudos.
Well, and I was on a call today with state superintendent with probably 295 other superintendents and a host of others, and budgeting conservatively, projecting conservatively is what he said multiple times, which is what we've been doing. That's how we got to this position now, is because we've been conservative with our own projections and our spending.
All right. Next up, we've got our resource optimization student. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Superintendent recommendations.
Yeah, so we talked about these at our last meeting, and there was a presentation that went with the discussion. And I've shared with you a little bit more refined list from me. These are basically the row recommendations, but I've just reduced the text because the slides have a lot of information. And my ask is, I don't need necessarily go through all of these, but I put like abbreviations to them, and so you know which ones we're talking about. using like this code. And then the idea being that this, as we go into summer, and what the ask is for the next decision is, so my team and I, that we can work on, if we need additional resource or research information, preparing analysis for these recommendations. If the board is not interested in us spending time and resource on learning more about these recommendations, then we won't spend time doing that. So that's really the ask. The ask isn't to move forward with these decisions. It's moving forward with continuing to research and provide analysis for the board for future decisions. So I think that it might have been confusing how I presented it. So I apologize for that. But that's what the next step when we go into making decisions on each one of these is, do we want to move forward and continue to research these? Any questions about that?
No. No, are we?
I think we do.
You have questions?
No, I think we need to move
Yeah.
forward.
Oh, gotcha,
and continue
okay.
to research them.
Yeah, are we commenting on this or is it up again?
What's our step here? Do you need
Maybe
to
we-
approve?
Yeah, so that was really, I just want to clarify that. I think that
Gotcha.
you've had the information in front of you really for a couple of weeks. As
Yeah.
far as these recommendations, again, I just pared down the recommendations, so there wasn't as much context. I believe you're very familiar with each one of these, and now we're moving into proposals for action.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, next up, we have citizen comment for specific to action items and policy below.
We didn't have any.
None for that, correct? Okay. All right, next up, we have approved resource optimization superintendent recommendation. So we'll go through each one.
Yeah, and I would,
Okay.
yeah, like,
Okay.
yep, just to go
Right.
through each one.
All right, so the first one, we've got the IP one, which is dual language.
And IP is innovative programs.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And so this will be, the next four will be all under the innovative. Cannot talk tonight. La, la, la.
It's a little warm in here
Okay.
too.
All right,
It's
so. So do we say just, do we want to move forward with dual language?
Yes.
And this is continuing the investigation into
Yeah.
expanding it, not
Yes. Yeah, and I
necessarily.
think it's a great one to just, an example.
Use an example.
Yes.
Because there's multiple ways to provide
Mhm.
dual language experience at the middle school. Currently, we have it at Hathaway, we have up to fourth grade, next year we'll have fifth graders, and then there'll be sixth graders. So this is looking at examples around us in the county, seeing what other options we have for continuing dual language at the middle school. So it's researching it, not agreeing that we're gonna do that.
Beautiful.
But it naturally follows because you've been expanding the elementary program
We have,
and they're gonna time out at the end of the
Next year.
school year.
Yeah.
And so being ready to continue to offer dual language as their sixth graders.
right.
Well, hopefully it follows.
Yeah. So do I say on each one, do I have a motion to?
Yeah.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve IP one dual language?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, so next up, we've got IP two, which is preschool. So continue our investment in preschool program. Questions, comments? I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep. Well, next up, we've got IP three, which is our highly capable, expanding our highly capable programming.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
IP four is our core curriculum.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. All right. On to our school consolidation. Big one. All right, so we've got our SC one, which is our school consolidation. So closing one elementary school, which will be Goslin Halfway.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So just to restate, this is approving that we continue to look at.
Investigate.
Investigate.
Yeah, because with this in particular, based on the policy that was recently approved, there's an analysis that's required. So that means that we will be working on an analysis the next couple months as we're planning for next year to present an analysis, not only for this one, but for other recommendations.
And talk to the community.
Yeah.
Then,
And-
yeah, so then in this particular case, then if the board is, wants to move forward, then that policy that was just approved requires us to have 90 days of hearings where we go to different neighborhoods and schools and go through a hearing process. So the community gets to share their perspective on whatever the decision is that we're proposing.
And to be clear, we've looked at our 4 elementary schools and identified Gauze and Hathaway as the one that we investigate, because we
Yes.
can't even. Cape Horn Sky is established in there, and we just built this other one over here. So
Exactly. Yeah, for those reasons, that's why Dawes and Hathaway, are the ones we're looking at.
All right, on to CS2, which is our rural campus optimization. This would be for to increase our efficiency. Just and CCMS.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a lot of work ahead of you, know.
You,
All right, long range capital facility. So LRC F1 would be retain all property asset.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. LRC F2, which is conduct property value and cost assessment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Aye.
Okay, all right. LRC F3, seek strategic lease partners.
Motion to approve.
Did we talk about this one?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I just want to make it clear that we're educating children, not property managers. So this one's a tough one for me, and I know it was a recommendation from the row to seek lease partners, but it does take resources to do that work, and it's close, in my opinion, to being outside of the bounds of
Yeah.
educating you.
Well, I think some of the initial investigation would be feedback from Shalice on how we could actually use those funds. And to your point, if we're gonna make that investment, making sure that we can use those funds somehow to get more funds in the general fund so that we have smaller class sizes,
Correct.
increased opportunity for kiddos.
yep, so that's part of the analysis, right, and the research?
Yep.
And then who would be the partners and then what would be the commitment? And we have an example of a fairly lengthy commitment with the city. And so when that happens, it locks that property up for a number of years. So that's all a part of the research and then analysis to the board.
Thank you.
All right.
Good call.
Do I have approval for LRC F3?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
LRC F4, preserve future flexibility and I can't talk.
Liquidity.
Liquidity.
Motion to approve.
I'll say it.
All in favor?
Aye. Let's get to work.
All right, good. Can't wait to hear.
You're in summer work.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we'll be moving forward with getting research for those.
I love-
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm not even looking at Les. I'm not even gonna look over at her.
He's just looking straight ahead. All right, next up, we have our approval of our superintendent goals for 26-27.
So I took your thoughts regarding trying to like make sure these are SMART goals and they're quantifiable. So I made some adjustments to these. And so in some cases it was pretty natural and then relatively easy. Other ones not so much. So what I appreciate is not only these goals, but what you just approved. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Right. So as we go into next year, those are the items we've identified and prioritized along with the other work that we're responsible for, which is educating our students.
Do we have any questions? No, this looks good.
I move we approve the superintendent goals for 26-27.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next up, we have comments from our board of directors. We'd like to go first. You go first.
Yeah, do it.
Nice.
I guess we're finishing out the year and we're looking towards the next year and we just approved all this work that we just signed up for the next year. But I really, I feel like the district is heading in a really positive direction. Like we're being proactive and we're not just letting things happen. We're taking an active stance, coming together as a community to make some decisions to position ourselves in the best possible way. So I'm feeling optimistic. I know the climate right now is really depressing, like finances are really hard. But I feel like we're doing everything we can. And so I just appreciate everyone's involvement and dedication. I have optimism.
Thank you.
Man, I think just to follow up with you, one end of school year. I know I've seen lots of smiling faces from kids, and I can't tell if teachers are excited or mildly terrified for the next week. But overall, good. I think to echo Ida your sentiments, it's that we're taking action, but I also think I've been really heartened by the amount of community members that are willing to invest time and energy, because we don't have a huge crew here that can do all of this research on their own, and people being willing and understanding the importance of stepping in and starting to address this. It's been really cool to be a part of, even though some of these are not easy decisions to make. So just great to see the community backing.
And I will say I wore my Washougal hat and my Washougal shirt and I brought my Letterman's jacket. Go class of 2026. Sorry, always got to stump the alumni part of it. But it's always exciting, right? Like to see them kind of, and a lot of us have seen these students kind of as they go through, and then we have grandchildren then, but we all have children in the school district, and we're watching them kind of grow up through the ranks and just watching them go. So I'm excited for my daughters to go to middle school. I mean, high school. They're not excited to leave middle school. But I really, I'd like to thank the administration, because I think we did a lot. Like I just started it off with, like, we don't have a lot of resources and we tackled a lot of stuff this year. We got a lot of stuff. We work with the community and we're moving the needle, and I feel positive about the next year.
I newest board member to the team, but I'm so encouraged by the enthusiasm, and I realize the mountain that we have to climb. I just but the enthusiasm just tonight in the volunteer celebration, folks are really excited to be participating, helping out. It's good. So I feel that I'm really encouraged. I'm excited about it. So
Thank you.
Yeah, what everybody else, I'm just say ditto, but I'm excited for next year. I feel like there's a lot of really positive, exciting things and coming, and I'm really excited for summer. And I hope teachers get to take a break and take the next few months off and enjoy themselves, and then back at it next year.
Yeah, great. So I got a couple things. So the volunteer appreciation gathering that happened at 4 o'clock. You know, I think we quadrupled the number of people attending this year versus last year. And then it was a really good energy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we had volunteers from the city, from McD, Reed Northwest, the Row, all coming together, having really good conversations. Barbara Watanabe said, if you need some help with writing grants, I'm a good grant writer. I can do that. So she said that today. We're gonna make sure we reach out to her and say that would be excellent support. So thank you, because we are writing grants. You've heard about a couple of them, and we're gonna continue to look for grant opportunities. So thanks for being here. It was a nice event. Corey, good job putting it together. So and Sherry Crampert, who brought the treats. So yeah, so it was really exciting and wonderful to see, and inspiring to see everyone that was here. Thank you, Ward. Thank you for your involvement. Just as you said, Paul, about your level of commitment, because you have students or grandchildren in the system, and you're as they're growing, you're growing. I see you growing in your competence in the roles you're in. And so having a rookie superintendent can't be anything to deal with. So I really appreciate you and all that you do in our conversations that we have and the decisions we're making. It's very helpful for me and our team to know that we have your confidence. So thank you. So looking forward to graduation Friday night at 5 o'clock. I think it's gonna be 85 degrees, probably about what it is here. So looking forward to that and seeing our graduates as they receive their diploma covers And it's a big event. It's a huge thing to
Yeah, like-
celebrate.
Is it Saturday?
Saturday, did I say Friday?
Yeah.
Saturday, I'm
Everybody's
sorry.
saying-
I'm sorry.
No.
Show up 5 o'clock.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, it's not
Sorry,
Friday.
no, if you have a student that's graduating, I'm sorry, we didn't change the time.
Fast forward it any faster.
Yeah, so it's Saturday at 5 o'clock. It's still gonna be 85 degrees.
It's still gonna be hot.
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be wonderful. Bring sunglasses, because you're gonna be looking right into the sun if you're there. Thank you to our staff. I went to an event today where one of our staff was retiring. There was a celebration for that staff, a recognition, her commitment that's happening in all of our buildings. So thank you to our staff that have been with us, who are retiring and going and doing something else. They've earned it. It's really hard work being an educator. And like there's a negativity around the country. I tell you I'm not feeling it here. Staff are tired. It happens in June, but they are still working hard. They're going to finish strong, and hopefully they will take a break. Hopefully they will, but typically they don't. Right? They're always thinking about it. Always thinking about how can we improve on what we're doing. So appreciate our staff. We have new staff. We have staff that we didn't think were going to be returning because of our situation with TK, that we non-renewed them, but I think they're going to end up back with us. A number of them have already, and we still have some open positions. So we just continue to fill positions and make adjustments personnel wise through this month and next month in August. So, and then we have new staff that are joining us, and they're excited, and we're excited to have them on the team. So thank you to the team for your efforts. Connor, we're going to miss you so much. So thanks for your dedication and commitment to our team. Been excellent. So thank you for that.
At least you kept it with the orange and black. Washougal, the battleground tag.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, yeah, looking forward to next year. Yeah.
One thing that I did forget to say is I got to go to the senior signing when they sign where they're going.
Answer, yeah.
And
Commitment.
what's it called?
Right, the right thing, yes,
Thank you.
yes.
I love seeing where all of our seniors are going. I think that is such a cool event. If you guys could go next year or something, it's such a cool thing and they get so excited and all the students get to clap for them and
Yeah.
you know how
The commitment to, the next,
to their next thing. And so it
yeah.
just shows that we really are, we're not just stopping here.
Yep.
You know, we follow them.
Yep.
So, anyway.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next we do have citizen comment. I have to read this little script for y'all really fast. There is opportunity for citizen comment at tonight's meeting, both for proposals for action and for general comments. The board and the administrative staff like to hear your comments from the public. This is our time to listen to you. Because this is a business meeting of the board of directors, the board will not respond to any public comments or questions or engage in conversation with the speaker. If follow-up action is appropriate, we will direct the superintendent to do so. Address comments to the board as a whole, not individual members, staff, or other audience members. We ask that you state your name. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. If you hear the bell, we ask that you conclude your remarks. Up to 30 minutes will be allocated for public comment. The board appreciates, listens, and cares about the broad range of perspectives in our community. We value everyone's comment.
Right, we have two.
Yes. First up, we have Elise. I don't know how to say your last name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna come down on me, I just know it. Good evening. My name is Elise Piet. I've worked in this district my entire career, which is almost 7 years come August. I love working in this district. It reminds me of my hometown. You see, I grew up in a small town in New England, a lot like Washougal. Everyone knew everyone. You could walk into the grocery store and see your neighbors. Your friends' parents were friends too, and their grandparents were friends with your grandparents. You could walk through the cemetery and see familiar last names because their families had been there so long. That sounds an awful lot like Washougal. So when Mr. Hansen called me in 2024 to ask if I wanted my job back after I was riffed, he couldn't even finish his sentence before I said yes. I want to work here. I want to live here. I want to support small businesses here. My dad and I love to go to Los Dos and Times for our Wednesday weekly dinners. But it's becoming harder to do that. You drive down the street to the local gas station and it's almost $6 a gallon. And that doesn't just translate to my car. I own a house in this town too. I still have to buy groceries and regular everyday items for my house. All of those items get shipped in from somewhere else with that expensive gas, driving those prices up too. I love our small town, and I recognize that it is more expensive to run a small district than a bigger one. Our buildings use the same electricity, but with fewer students in them. See, I read Mr. Hansen's newsletters. But that doesn't mean our teachers have to suffer too. I've known most of these people my whole career. They're amazing teachers and friends. They go to work every day and give our students the best education they can. But it gets harder and harder to do when you have to sacrifice to survive. We teachers, we shouldn't just be surviving. We should be thriving. You should value the dedication and hard work our teachers put in to help our students. The old adage is, if you want the best employees, you pay the best salary. But the reverse is true too. You don't get good employees without good pay. If you value us as people, as educators, as the ones teaching the future, you should show us. You should not be making us debate how long we could go without filling up our car. You should not be making us play pros and cons at the grocery store or question how long our old washing machine can go before it gives out. Ask me how I know that one. Many of our teachers have children and grandchildren of their own, but are having to sacrifice those few precious moments and memories because they can't afford to make them. We want to work here. We want to support our district, but we can only do that when we know we are valued and appreciated for the work we do. Please remember the people in the classrooms, the people who are raising the next generation when you make your financial decisions. Thank you.
Next, Michelle.
Medeiros.
Medeiros, thank you.
Down here.
Well, good evening. My name is Michelle Medeiros, and I have been an employee of Washougal School District for 18 years. I'm a very proud school district employee, and I absolutely love Washougal School District and Washougal. I live here, and both my daughters graduated from Washougal High School 2018, 2022. So I have a lot of love for this district. And thank you for sharing, Erin, about just, the hard work that teachers and other staff do. And that's great because, yes, like sometimes you can get a feel for around the country or just in general that teachers can kind of get a bad rap. But I guarantee you that teachers are working incredibly hard. I happen to be a school counselor, and one of my other joys in my career has been that I have worked at Cape Horn Sky, Canyon Creek, Washougal High School, and now I'm at Columbia River Gorge Elementary. And so I just love that about my career, that I've been around so much in this town. I've also, obviously, I've been around to have noticed sort of the trends and the hardships and, the ups and the downs in the economy and just in what's happening, in our community, state and nation. And, I think I am someone who always wants to be the person, like let's get to the table and let's talk things out and let's do what's right for all the sides of a situation. And so I know that in recent history, the district has been in financial hardship, and I feel like our certificated staff have been really willing to kind of be on board with being a partner and like going with the flow when the financial times are hard. I think I also remember that way back when we had the recession in the early 90s, is that there were some times when certificated staff just kind of like white knuckled it for a while when the district couldn't really raise salaries. And I feel from my awareness at this point that now we are striving to be better, and thank goodness for our smart planners here that know how to budget, save money and all that. And we're in a much better position than many of our counterparts in Clark County. So thank you all for that. But we are in a good position. And so we ought to move forward in negotiations between the district and the WAE. And we know, as Elise kind of stated, that the IPD doesn't go very far in terms of addressing cost of living, the rise of cost of living and all those sorts of issues. So I trust this district very much, and I'm going to trust that as we move forward in negotiations, that will be considered, that will be heavily considered for what's fair and right for our certificated staff, and that will make some movement toward some compensation that matches our value. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Do we have any future agenda?
Summer break.
Our board evaluation is online. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Right. Thank you.
Do we have to sign anything today, or is this a no sign?
And again, there's a concert at 7 at the high school.